Welcome back to the Anthony Lee Crypto channel. Guys, today we're going to dive into the altcoins. What I want to do is encourage you to take a look at this altcoin with an open mind, okay? I know what you want to hear. Everybody wants to hear that their coin is going to 50x, 100x. I get it. I want to hear that too, okay? But listen to me. I've been through 3 bull markets and I'm now in my 3rd bear market, okay? And I'm not saying I'm always correct, okay? But I know how these things go, okay? We're going to look at the coin from a technical standpoint. How many of you a few weeks ago, as your coin was going up 60, 70, 100%, was listening to the influencers telling you this time is different, super cycle, Bitcoin dominance is headed down, alt season is here, blah, 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 blah. And today your coin is probably down 50%. Okay, don't listen to the noise. Okay, we're going to look from a technical standpoint. Okay, I don't know about your fundamentals of your coin. I don't know any of that kind of stuff. We can't predict what may happen later, what partnerships may come in, what scandals may come up. We can't predict those types of things, but what we can predict and know for a fact are things like tokenomics, circulating supply, technical analysis. Those things don't change. So we can look at it from a technical standpoint and take a realistic approach to what this coin might do. If anything comes later, like some sort of hopium or some sort of deal or some sort of thing like that in the economy with your coin, where it gets worldwide mass adoption, great, that's a bonus. But be prepared for less, okay? Or be prepared for a more realistic target. The biggest mistake I made in my first cycle was listening to everyone else who said that my coin was going to 50, 60x. And as I sat here and watched it 10 and 15x, which was great, I didn't take profit because I was waiting on that 50x because I believed the narrative. And I wound up writing that coin all the way back down and round tripping it, right? I learned from that mistake. If you're not at least open-minded to hearing what a conservative approach would be, then you're only showing your inexperience in this market. So don't be inexperienced. If you are inexperienced, at least try to learn, okay? If I think your coin's going to 100x, I'm going to tell you that. If I think it's going to 5x, I'm going to tell you that. If I think it's going to 0, I'm going to tell you that. I'm going to keep it real with you. I know I could get way more clicks by just coming in and shouting 100x, but that's not going to serve you anything good in the future. So let's take a realistic approach to these coins, and we'll see if we can figure out where a good bull market top is going to be. Let's take a look at the charts. Here we go. All right, y'all, taking a look at Bitcoin Cash by request. If you want me to take a look at your altcoin and perform the tokenomics on it, let me know. Comment below. Let me know which altcoin you want me to take a look at from a strictly technical standpoint, not fundamental. Be sure to give this stream a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. We're going to be doing lots of altcoin updates going into the next cycle. You don't want to miss out. Looking at Bitcoin Cash here on the weekly time frame, Bitcoin Cash is kind of a veteran altcoin. It's been around since 2017. You can see back in 2017, you set a price all-time high of $4,300. Now, at that time, you had a market cap of over $78 billion, okay? Circulating supply of 17.5 million. I'm not going to keep mentioning circulating supply on this because it has increased over the years, but it's pretty negligible, all the way up to the day at 19.5 million coins. So only about 10% or so added in. That's pretty negligible. Some of these add in 400, 500, 600, 1,000%. So 10 to 15% is not very much. Fast forward to 2021, you set a cycle high, cycle number 2, you set a cycle high of 1642 with a market cap of $20 billion. So about 60% less performance in cycle number 2. So waning interest from cycle 1 to cycle 2. Looking at cycle 3, you came down and again about another 60+% less interest. You came down to 11 billion market cap and only $562 for your price high. And today we are looking at, this is not correct on price. Sorry about that, guys. We are looking at a price of about $225, market cap 457 million. And again, circulating supply about 19.5 million. Now, going in and looking at the market cap of this, you can see here from cycle 1 to cycle 2, bull market high to bear market low, your market cap retraced to the 0.382 fib. Okay, and that's what gave you your second price high. Now, if we turn this off, remember you went to the 0.382 from cycle 1 to cycle 2. If we look at the fib from cycle 2 to cycle 3, what do you know? You came to the 382 fib again, just slightly above it this time, but still, you didn't quite make it to the 0.5. So you see a clear trend here. Let's look at current cycle high to bear market low. Now, I do think you're going to come a little lower, so let's kind of estimate this a little bit lower. Down in here somewhere, this clear support area that you've returned to every single time. If we do get down to that area right in there, then your 382 fib is going to come in right at about 6.5 billion. Let's be a little generous this time. Let's say you actually make it to the 0.5 fib. Since cycle 1, you kind of made it barely to the 382, cycle 2, you made it a little above it. Let's say you make it all the way up to the 0.5 fib at $8 billion market cap. Clearly, you can see a series of lower highs on market cap, so you can expect the same. If you make it to an $8 billion market cap with 20 million tokens in circulation, which is what you will have, my bull market price prediction for Bitcoin Cash is $400. Okay, so not a very good return, certainly a terrible return on investment from current price. However, I do think you get a shot at lower prices upcoming in the fall. If Bitcoin rolls over and sets a new low like it always does, you can expect Bitcoin Cash to head down. And you can see each bear market, you have returned to this level. So I would expect another return to this level. And it's holding up pretty well right now. But you can see it did this last cycle too. It held up pretty well. And right there at the end, it just nuked on down. Same thing in cycle 1. You held up really well. And then you dropped so fast, you had a big gap here and you crashed right down to this area. I do think you'll make it down to this area. You can see you're setting up a descending triangle here, pretty much a descending triangle. Lower highs in price action and a fairly flat bottom down here. So setting this up, we can expect a return down to this area, then a move back up to about $400 to the top of this triangle before coming down again in the next bear market. So all in all, if you do get a shot at, say, $100 Bitcoin Cash, $100, $150 Bitcoin Cash, you're only looking at about, I don't know, 250, 300% gain. So really poor performance here. And you can just see the trend. If you get some extreme fundamental news come through, maybe you could go a little higher. But short of that, this is an underperforming asset since the beginning. It's an old coin, and you guys know the newer coins, the AI stuff, all of that stuff is white hot. These older coins don't have near the real world utility anymore as they were once thought to have. So just kind of bleeding out here, a slow bleed. This is not a coin I would be interested in investing in. The risk to reward is just not there, at least from a technical and tokenomics standpoint. Let me know what you think below in the comments about my prediction. Again, if you have any altcoins you want me to look at, drop them below. I'll be happy to take a look. Subscribe to the channel. Would love to have you. I will see you guys next time.